Tama. Voice of the people is the supreme law. In fact, she got the highest vote in the last election, higher than the president. Hindi lang yung 32 million vote. She has the highest approval ratings from among the top government officials. Hindi lang siya highest net satisfaction ratings, approval satisfaction ratings, at saka yung sa presidential election survey for 2028. She is the number one and the most formidable candidate. Kaya nga, hindi maiwasan maisip ng tao at ng taong bayan na this is a purely political exercise to eliminate the most potent and formidable opponent, formidable candidate in 2028. Kasi wala silang kandidato na pwede ilaban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. So ang gagawin nila, i-impeach nila and they will do everything. Grabe, makikita mo yung resource mobilization nila at saka naglampasan yung parang kabuti yung mga trolls ngayon, yung mga media spins, mga media press releases. Grabe, it's really a demolition. But if you will notice, the demolition has been going on for more than 2 years already. The Quadcom has been doing the demolition for a long time already. I think and I believe that move to elect a Senate President, elect a presiding officer in the person of Chis Escudero, I think is unconstitutional and illegal. And that can be raised in the coming days, that can be raised in the Supreme Court. Ang problema kasi dyan, kasi continuing na yun maging problema dyan. The rulings of the chair is very important. If you will notice, and if you will remember, it is still fresh in our memory. Senate President Enrile, who was presiding the impeachment of Chief Justice Corona, made several rulings, and he made a lot of opinions. He made written opinions, he made verbal opinions. So magaling si Senate President Enrile, and he was really able to preside properly, to handle the proceedings. Yes, tama naman yung nag-raise ng point of order si Senator Alan Cayetano. And considering that he is an experienced senator, experienced congressman, matagal din nag-congressman yan. And he is a lawyer. Alam niya yung batas, alam niya yung constitution. And at the proper time, proper yung timing niya na nag-raise siya ng question immediately when the Senate President called on Senator Lacson to nominate a presiding officer because wala naman talaga yun sa Constitution na pipili ka o boboto yung Senate. Kung ang intention ng framers ay mag-vote o pipili sila ng mag-elect sila, dapat sinulat yun sa Constitution. Hindi naman nakasulat sa Constitution. So, Senator Cayetano was correct in raising the point of order. And when the point of order was raised, it should be given priority because that is an incidental motion. It suspends all the other business. So, yun ang dapat ginawa ng Senate President. You know, when you are a speaker or a deputy speaker, a Senate President or a Senate Pro Tempore, you should know the rules. You should know the rule of order. Hindi naman pwede na hindi mo papansinin yung point of order because the point of order is very important. Why is a point of order is raised? And in this particular point, gi-raise ni Senator Cayetano yung Constitution, and it's clear in the Constitution that yung impeachment kapag if the president is impeached, it is the Chief Justice who will preside. And it is silent when kung hindi presidente, kung non-presidential impeachment, kung vice president, kung justices o chief justice, silent nakalagay. But ayun na nga, kung silent doon, the default mode there is the Senate President. Why? Because in terms of hierarchy, number one is the President of the Philippines. Number two is the Vice President. So when the number two is in trial for impeachment, yung number three ang mag-preside, the Senate President. So who is the number three Senate President? Ang number four is the House of Representatives, the Speaker. Yung number five is the Chief Justice. So ganun yung tinatawag natin na constitutional status o constitutional hierarchy. So when the Vice President is being the topic of the impeachment, siya yung respondent, so dapat ang nag-preside doon yung Senate President. Nakasulat ba doon sa Constitution na kung ang mag-preside i-elect? Wala, hindi nakasulat doon. So, Senate President Gatchalian is wrong for not entertaining clearly the point of order. In fact, mag-rule ka dapat when you are the Senate President or when you are the presiding officer, you will rule if the point of order is in order. So dapat nag-rule siya. Yung point of order is well taken or point of order is not taken or point of order is out of order. Wala naman. Ang manifest lang siya. This is the manifestation of the Senate President. Sinabi niya. So without the ruling, supposedly, hindi sila makaproceed to another business. Now, you compare this to the impeachment of Chief Justice Corona. When the Senate President was Senate President Enrile, immediately after convening the impeachment court, siya na ang nag-preside. Questions on a point of order, questions on motion were all addressed by Senate President Enrile. In other words, the president of the Senate President sitting as the presiding officer was already established during the time of Senate President Enrile during the impeachment of Chief Justice Corona. Second, di ba nung nakaupo si Alan Cayetano as Senate President, although for a short time, nag-convene na yung impeachment court. And when the impeachment court convened, si Senator Cayetano ang nag-act as presiding officer. They took their oath and he was the one presiding. Hindi sila nag-elect ng another presiding officer. So, personally, I think and I believe that move to elect a Senate President, elect a presiding officer in the person of Chis Escudero, I think is unconstitutional and illegal. And that can be raised in the coming days, that can be raised in the Supreme Court. Ang problema kasi dyan, kasi continuing na yun maging problema dyan. The rulings of the chair is very important. If you will notice, and if you will remember, it is still fresh in our memory. Senate President Enrile, who was presiding the impeachment of Chief Justice Corona, made several rulings. And he made a lot of opinions. He made written opinions, he made verbal opinions. So magaling si Senate President Enrile, and he was really able to preside properly, to handle the proceedings orderly and properly. It is the obligation, it is the statutory obligation of the Senate President to act as the presiding officer. And the revelation there was when both Senator Alan Cayetano and Senator Pia Cayetano presented the proceedings, the deliberations of the Constitutional Convention or Constitutional Commission that drafted the 1987 Constitution. There was a deliberation between Commissioner Christian Monsod and Commissioner Hilario Davide, who became Chief Justice, and he was the one presiding during the impeachment of President Erap Estrada. It was clear and it was established there in the deliberation that ang sabi doon sa deliberation for the impeachment of the President, it is clear that the Chief Justice will preside. At hindi nakasulat nga. And it is assumed that, ito klaro sa records of the Constitutional Commission, that it is assumed that the Senate President will preside in all other impeachment other than the President.
Op.
So, nakakatawa nga kanina kasi tama yung point ni Senator Pia kahit ano, baka pagtatawan tayo ng mga law students. I am not a lawyer pero nagbabasa naman ako ng law, no? Nagbabasa ako ng political law, nagbabasa ako ng constitutional law, and it is very clear that when yun na nga, napatawa ko kasi merong senador doon nagsabi, ano ba yun? Sinulat ko, expressio unius is exclusio alterius. The express mention of one thing exclude all others. So ang ibig sabihin nito, expressly written, si Chief Justice ang mag-preside kapag presidente ang under impeachment. In other words, hindi siya pwede doon mag-preside sa iba. You cannot assume that you will elect. So kung ang purpose ng Constitutional Commission o purpose ng Constitution is mag-elect, so dapat sinulat doon sa Constitution. It was not written there. So what are the rules of statutory construction? Balikan mo yung framers ng Constitution, pag-aralan mo. So there is a very big chance. This is a very big chance that this will be brought to the Supreme Court for interpretation. And there is really a possibility that this will be questioned time and again. Because the rulings of the chair or rulings of the presiding officer is very, very important. So that's my point. I think tama yung point of order ni Senator Alan Cayetano. Ang mali, hindi i-rule yung point of order na diretso doon sa motion. So, the motion to elect kaagad without first determining if the point of order was proper or out of order. So,
Kong,
may question talaga.
Kong, yung pong niraise po ninyo na in-skip na elementary rule ng Senate President sa parliamentary proceedings, ito po ay ina-apply sa City Council, sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan, itong mga ganitong ruling o ganitong mga procedures. Ganun,
Kahit sa barangay. Kahit sa barangay, yes.
Ito ba yung magandang halimbawa, Kong? Lalo pat nanunood din, maraming mga konsehal, maraming mga Sangguniang Panlalawigan members, maraming mga barangay councilors ang nanunood po buong Pilipinas sa mga proceeding na ito.
Yes, tama yun because the point of order nasa hierarchy of the yan, diretso yan. Sa Robert's Rule of Order, you have to immediately entertain that because a point of order is the violation of the rules, and in this case, it is violation of the Constitution. Now, it was not ruled kanina by the Senate President. So, hindi klaro yung motion to elect. Was it in the proper order o hindi ba proper yung order? So, I think most likely iaakyat talaga for interpretation yan sa Supreme Court. Kasi mahirap naman na tuloy-tuloy yung may mga questions na pwede lalabas because the chair or the presiding officer rules always, especially in an impeachment proceeding. Presentation of evidence, presentation of the witnesses, precedence of motions, may mga debate dyan. And the ruling of the presiding officer is very important. The presiding officer should be valid and in accordance with the rules and in the Constitution. Now, the question was yung replacement. I think na-mention yun na pag-usapan dyan. The amendment to the rules was made last June 3, in which there were only 12 senators present. Question there, was there a proper quorum? Was the resolution to amend valid? So I think there is still a pending case in court there. Hindi naman lalagi correct after yung merong special session last June 17 ba yun? O basta second week of June, merong special session when they elected a new Senate President in the person of Senate President Min Gatchalian. Dapat di-correct nila doon yung I would say infirmity. Mali. So may malaki talagang question dito. Now, dumating tayo dito ngayon na maraming questions on the constitutionality. It also happened there in the House during the deliberations. Alam mo, itong impeachment do, ang daming infirmities. Sa committee hearing sa House, 55 members of the committee, we were more than 300 congressmen. Only the 55 members of the committee were allowed to ask questions, were allowed to interpolate or cross-examine the witnesses. Kaming mga hindi members, because kami, mga taga Davao, wala kaming membership sa committee. I would say I'm one of the most experienced congressman kasi magpang-anim na termino ko na to. Wala akong komitiba, hindi man ako member sa isang committee. We were told that yung hindi nakapagtanong dito sa committee, doon na kayo sa plenary magtanong. Pagdating sa plenary, I was expecting na makapagtanong kami. We were only given 3 minutes to ask question. No extension. How can you deliberate or how can you absorb properly? How can the member of Congress understand when you are only given 3 minutes to ask question? I have more than 100 pages of questions. 2 page lang yung naitanong ko because I was only given 3 minutes to ask questions. Itong isa pa. I wrote the Committee on Justice. I wrote the Secretary General. Humingi ako ng transcript of records of the proceedings of the committee. Nakailang committee hearings yun? 4 or 5 ba? Or 6? Kasi I wanted to see, because there was a big difference in the original articles of impeachment submitted by the complainants and i-consolidate nila doon pagdating sa committee. And the consolidated version, iba na doon sa sinagot ni Vice President Sara Duterte. So, the theory, or for the sake of due process, kung binago mo yung complaint or articles of impeachment, kung binago mo yung facts doon, kasi may dinagdag sila ng mga witnesses doon, may dinagdag sila ng mga ebidensya, i-inform mo yung respondent. Because hindi naman pwede dalhin mo doon sa plenaryo na hindi niya alam yung mga dinagdag. So back to the point ko kanina, humingi ako ng copy ng transcript of records doon sa Committee on Justice at saka sa Secretary General. The letter was dated May 9, it was received May 11. Alam niyo kung anong petsa ko na-receive? May 25 or 26. Tapos na yung voting. Tapos na yung voting ng impeachment doon sa House plenary. And again, I was only given 3 minutes. How can a member of the House, in fact, ako lang yata yung humingi ng copy. Dapat it should have been distributed yung transcript of the records of the minutes of the meeting of the committee. Dapat pinamigay yun sa members para ma-absorb mo lahat. Kasi out of the 300 plus members, 55 lang ang members ng Committee on Justice. So doon mo makikita that there was really a big question on the due process. So sana the students or the professors of history will look into this, that there was no proper deliberation, there was no proper due process given to the respondent vice president. Kahit ako na congressman, na matagal na akong congressman, I was not given a chance to really ask or propound intelligent questions because I was only given 3 minutes. So most of those questions I asked were only procedural questions. Hindi na ako nakatanong ng substantive questions about the witnesses, about the testimonies, about the figures, the data presented by merong mga data doon na present yung AMLC, may mga figures present yung former senator, may marami doon na questions. So hindi kami nakapagtanong doon sa committee. So lalo na sa plenary, walang question. So nagbutuhan kami ng hindi na deliberate masyado yung articles of impeachment doon sa House. Ngayon, nakikita ko na naman yan sa Senate na merong uh, constitutional infirmity, which is very important because it is clear uh, in the Constitution, and the Constitution does not say that you have to elect a presiding officer. The framers of the Constitution, in its deliberation, nagsabi na the Senate President, automatically, siya dapat ang mag-preside sa ibang mga impeachment maliban sa presidente ng Pilipinas. Because if the President of the Philippines is under impeachment, it will be the Chief Justice who will preside. So the default mode there, kahit hindi nakasulat, is the number three man in the hierarchy of the public officials. Number 3 is the Senate President. Yun yung aking mga observations, MJ at Admar.
Opo, Kong, bago lang po si partner Admar, usapin po tayo, Kong, ng mandato. Dahil sinabi po ni Congressman Jervil Luistro kanina, Congresswoman Luistro, yung Latin phrase na Vox Populi est Suprema Lex. In English, the voice of the people is the supreme law. Now, sinagot po siya ng depensa ni Attorney Sheila Sison. Sabi niya, the Vice President was voted by 32 million Filipinos. This is the voice of the people. Anong masasabi mo doon, sir? Sa palitan po nila ng mga pahayag.
Correct. Tama. Voice of the people is the supreme law. In fact, she got the highest vote in the last election. Higher than the president. Hindi lang yung 32 million vote. She has the highest approval ratings from among the top government officials. Hindi lang siya highest net satisfaction ratings, approval satisfaction ratings, at saka yung sa presidential election survey for 2028. She is the number 1 and the most formidable candidate. Kaya nga, hindi maiwasan maisip ng tao at ng taong bayan na this is a purely political exercise to eliminate the most potent and formidable opponent, formidable candidate in 2028. Kasi wala silang kandidato na pwede ilaban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. So ang gagawin nila, i-impeach nila, and they will do everything. Grabe, makikita mo yung resource mobilization nila at saka naglabasan yung parang kabuti yung mga trolls ngayon, yung mga media spins, mga media press releases. Grabe, it's really a demolition. But if you will notice, the demolition has been going on for more than 2 years already. The Quadcom has been doing the demolition for a long time already. At hindi naman bumababa yung support ni Vice President Sara Duterte, especially for the Mindanao areas and Visayas. At saka, if you will notice, even in Metro Manila, may support na rin siya. So yung balance of Luzon lang yung kulang yung kaniyang support sa mga surveys. But para sa akin, this will really redound to political motives. So correct yung sinabi nung lead defense counsel kanina na Vox Populi. So voice of the people. The 32 million votes cannot be disregarded. Saka nagbabantay yung mga bumoto yan, ha? Nagbabantayan kung sino yung nagsasalita ng tama. Saka that explains why bakit hindi bumababa, kasi alam naman natin yung common sense, alam naman natin yung tama. Saka paulit-ulit lang yung mga sinasabi ever since, paulit-ulit lang. So I noticed that.
Opo, kung yung threshold para sa botohan, hindi na po ano yon, kumbaga case closed na po ba dito pa lang sa unang trial na impeachment trial po, unang araw na impeachment trial, batay sa mga salita kanina ni Presiding Officer Chis Escudero?
Yes, si Senator Chis Escudero cited President ruling sa Supreme Court. At saka hindi lang yan. Klaro sa Constitution na two-thirds. Two-thirds of all the members. So who are the members? Sila yung mga senators na nasa roster pa. Hindi naman natanggal sa roster si Jinggoy Estrada. Hindi naman natanggal sa roster si Bato de la Rosa. Hindi naman matatanggal siguro sa roster si Senator Marcoleta. Two-thirds of the 24 who are members of the Senate. And I think during the impeachment of Chief Justice Sereno, hindi lang yun natuloy kasi nag-resign siya. The very much learned, mautak na si Chief Justice Davide gave also his opinion na yung two-thirds, kahit wala na yung isang senador, supposedly 23, sabi niya two-thirds is still 16. So 16 votes is necessary to convict the vice president in this particular impeachment.
Opo. Sa pananaw niyo po, kung mauobliga ng impeachment court na makadalo ang dalawang nakakulong na senador, kagaya po ng pag-obliga na mag-attend ng mga hearing, ng mga investigasyon, ang mga resource person or mga magiging witness, no, sa isang investigasyon kahit na sila ay nakakulong?
Well, I think it should be given a special permission or a special privilege. Yun na nga yung mga witnesses pinapalabas sa kulungan para mag-attend doon. Meron silang mga pina-attend doon sa doon sa impeachment hearing sa House. And this is a very important matter, the impeachment of the number 2 official of the land. And aside from that, they are still presumed innocent until proven guilty. So, with all the good intentions, considering na innocent pa nga sila, unless proven guilty, wala pa naman silang ruling eh. At saka that ruling will still be appealed to the higher court. So kung ako ang tatanungin, yes, why not? They should be able to attend. And the proper petition should be made to the highest court of the land to allow them to attend sessions.
Opo. Kung mga ilang buwan na lang siguro mag-uumpisa na rin yung paghimay para sa 2027 national budget, na sinasabi nga na ang 1 year before ang mismong araw ng election na budget ay tinagurian ding election budget. Ano po ang makikita nyo po rito? Kasi meron din pahayag ang gobyerno natin na may isasama na ang flood control na pagbabudget for 2027. Sinasabi rin na posibleng umabot ng hanggang unang mga buwan ng 2027 ito pong impeachment trial. Baka hindi mahimay ng husto ng mga lalo na ng mga senador ito po, or magiging hamon sa kanila yung pagtiyak na magkaroon ng transparency, kasi issue po ito ngayon, lalo kayo, kabilang kayo po doon sa nag-question din sa mga previous na mga GAA po natin na congressman.
Well, it is very, very important. No? The budget is the most important piece of legislation passed by Congress every year because that involves the operation of the entire government. We call that the budget is the final financial interpretation of the plans and programs of the economic development plan, socio-economic development plan of the government. There was a slowdown ng ating ekonomiya. 3% in the last quarter, 2.8% in the first quarter. Inflation is up If you will notice, investments is down. There's a kind of loss of confidence in the investments, loss of investors' confidence. At saka yung target nila is something like more than 7 trillion. We have to, hihimayin talaga natin ang gusto yan because how can you raise the 7 trillion when the economy is down? The basis for the budget is the GDP growth or the gross domestic product. It is a percentage of the gross domestic product, yung tinatawag natin na projected earnings sa BIR, sa Bureau of Customs is very dependent on the economy. So yung tax collection efforts na gagawin is very dependent on the economic development. When the economy is down, how can you raise your taxes? So magtataka ka bakit naka-project ng 7 trillion when at present binababa na yung projected growth, no? Something like 4% plus na lang. And it is not only the DBCC, Development Budget Coordinating Committee, yung aside from the DBCC, yung international financial institutions and the credit rating agencies have already reduced our growth targets. So kapag mag-reduce ka ng growth targets mo, bumababa din yung tax returns mo. So paano mangyari yan? Aakyat yung budget deficit kung malaki masyado yung projected na budget, pero yung income mo is very low because of the slowdown in the economy. So para sa akin, how do you reboot? Yun talaga yung solusyon doon sa questions of the corruption. Hanggang walang big fish na makukulong diyan sa flood control anomalies na yan. Yung anomalya sa flood control. Naghahanap pa rin ng tao. Nauna pa yatang nakulong si Kong Marcoleta at saka si former Congressman Defensor. So kailangan natin yung honest to goodness, seryoso na pag-address sa corruption problem sa ating bansa.